All right, I was cut off again, and but I will. I'm going to just go skip to the conclusion since I keep getting cut off. Um, this climate crisis, so often understated, runaway overheating from capitalism's climate apocalypse, which will cause the death of billions. Uh, After approximately 2029 and the decades to follow, if we do not abolish these three sectors, the focus of this conversation, the military industrial complex, but also the fossil fuel sectors and livestock system, animal product sectors, if these are not abolished, it's very, very likely that humankind will go extinct, or if not extinct, then basically billions of brown-skinned people in the global south will be paying for our sins as global northerners, or particularly those of the ruling elites, for these because these are not just corporations acting unilaterally in an insane way. These also represent consumer goods that we're all still consuming. Even people who really say they don't want this, like scientific socialists, they aren't really doing that much to fight against the military-industrial complex. They are not reducing their use of those specific products, all of the sectors that rely on fossil fuels and animal products. So that is the actions of what is effectively a labor aristocracy, right? The worker of the North American continent and of the European continent is benefiting in a way that other workers do not have the opportunity to benefit. And that labor aristocracy is not just unjust or cruel in those respects, but it is also this a feature of this ecocidal problem. So it's up to us to drive a stake into the heart of this vampire that is U.S. warmongering and this $1 trillion a year military-industrial complex. And under different circumstances, I would say that it would take quite the organizational coup de grace to do that in that 5-year time frame, seeing as the organizations that would be capable of doing that would take many years to build in so-called Europe and North America. But in this AI takeoff situation that I've described, and this particular thing, the workforce multiplier that I've described, I believe that building something a good deal more powerful than the military-industrial complex is possible. So, for example, if you have this AI work group with just a few thousand people, you might be able to build and conceive something that could transform a cityscape, like let's say a desalination plant, a desal plant in San Diego, for example, a city that could benefit from having more potable water and also is coastal in the way that the desal plant could be built there. The projects of this kind could be conceived and built by this work group with, say, many tens of thousands of users in the network. When you have then hundreds of thousands or millions of users in the network, you have something because of this workforce multiplier feature that is potentially a good deal more powerful than these corporations and fascistic government organs that dominate the playing field today. And so you have something that's in this position to neutralize those bad actors and build something sustainable in its place. And ultimately, when you have billions of users, you have science fiction outcomes becoming a reality. And I don't think that's an unreasonable thing to say. So, for example, I've described this agentariat transforming into a decentralized but nevertheless internationalist governing body representing all human beings, something like a United Earth Directorate run by this strong AI. And another element here is when you have some hundreds of thousands of users in this open source LLM AI agent network, the AI agent mass can focus some of its energies on recursion, that is, building itself into a self-improving entity that then becomes a good deal more intelligent and capable as a result. And when you have this recursion feature reached by people's organization and not by the fascistic type organizations that are more likely to build this sort of thing now, you have possibility for a positive transformation well beyond simply removing warmongering and environmental instability from the equation. So this a focus on building a humane and sustainable economic system in the absence of unsustainable military might, and is a world where technology is used by workers, by citizens of Earth, to serve the cause of peace and human flourishing. And in the face of existential threats that could do so much harm to us, even in the absence of capitalism's climate apocalypse, we would continue to see existential threats deriving from not just financial capital and private wealth and these fascistic forces that derive from it, but as a natural course of events, things like a super volcano exploding or other kinds of so-called acts of God. These are things that we have to be able to anticipate and plan for, and this is a feature of superintelligence as well, as being able to see things coming using predictive algorithms and tools of that kind to see things coming and plan accordingly. So there's no reason not to build this cybernetic socialist world, but in order to do that, we have to first build an insurgency of the specifically technological kind that I've described here, that is able to replace this Western military abomination, rendering it obsolete, neutralizing its profane and evil power, and creating conditions where war becomes unnecessary, which I believe had organizations of the scientific socialist kind or internationalist projects like the USSR been allowed to flourish and not been habitually attacked by the fascist West, we would already live in that more peaceful world. And as I said on the last show, I think in that world where, for example, Allende's Chile and the technological planned economy that was built there was allowed to flourish, we would have seen an AI takeoff of the kind that I've described on this show many times, occurring around the year 2000 instead of the year maybe 2040 or 2035, and we have to learn from these mistakes and fight for this thing that is truly humane and sustainable, building a global movement for peace, and but also justice and equality for all citizens on Earth, which can only be done by dismantling this military-industrial complex and shifting priorities toward more advanced systems promoting human well-being.